Hey, good afternoon, YouTubers. Tsquare here with Tsquare Talk. So, have we got a treat for you guys today? Everybody knows that I am on my health food kick. But the problem with health food is salads get old quick. Nothing would beat a big old cheeseburger, pizza, that type of stuff. But I'm trying to eat a little more healthier, and that way I can drop that weight quicker. If you're not familiar with the healthy challenge that I'm doing, I'll drop a link in the bottom. So today we're gonna make up some chicken breast. It's boneless, skinless chicken breast. It's low fat, but most people like the darker meat because it has more fat, more flavor in it. But I'm going to show you guys a neat trick that I picked up and that I've been doing to kind of give some flavor to something that may not be as flavorful. The first thing I do is I take my chicken breast. Any extra fat that might be on it, I'll end up cutting that little extra fat off. I'm really trying to watch my calories every which way I can. And then I cut it up kind of smaller pieces. Basically, that way it's going to cook faster. I don't want to be cooking a chicken breast all day. Kind of try to keep, just speed things up a little bit. One of the other things I do make extra meals. That way I can prep it and have my meals ready to go. So as you can see, I picked up basically there's a big old, that's my movie theater bucket of popcorn when I go get a movie theater popcorn. That's part of the reason why I'm way overweight. But what you have here is basically altogether there's about 12 pounds, maybe 13 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast with all the fat cut off. But I'm going to show you guys a neat trick. Now, if you are buying your chicken breast, I will tell you another neat trick here that I do to save money. Now, this is the package that they come in. This is Tyson boneless, skinless. Any brand is, Tyson just happened to be what they had today. It was on sale. One of the things I look for, normally this stuff would have costed me $8.71 a pack. So you'd be talking, about $2 a pound. I ended up getting it for 92 cents a pound because it has to be used today. Now, if you are the type that's looking to save money and you have a little extra time on your hands, maybe you spend more time at home, just you have time available. If you go early in the morning to your grocery stores, you can get this stuff marked down. Literally, this was boneless, skinless breast, name brand, 92 cents a pound. So it's a great way to save money. You can buy extra, you can put it in your freezer. It keeps great. As long as you put it in your freezer, you thaw it out the day when you're ready to use it, you thaw it out the day before, and then you use it. It keeps great. The dates on here are just guaranteed freshness dates. As long as you use it, the next day, you'll still be fine for the most part. So we've never had a problem with it. I can't guarantee, there ain't extreme cases out there. That's just what I do to save money. So I've got to say that way I don't get sued later for something. But just putting that out there, it's a good way to save money. I mean, I've picked up chicken as cheap as 50 cents a pound, but it's the dark meat. And if you're trying to cut fat, lose weight, you don't want to be getting the dark meat as much. Now, I am a big fan of McCormick's, but I'm also an even bigger fan of what's on sale, so I like to save money. So for today's spices, basically I'm using a rotisserie garlic herb spice from McCormick's. I'm also using a Montreal chicken spice, also from McCormick's. And then I ended up picking up these McCormick's. They were on sale for $1 a bottle. It's a great thing not only to use, but you can also prep it. I keep some on hand. I especially like to buy a lot of stuff when it's on sale. So as you can see, I picked them up $1 a piece. Now on this is a black pepper. It's smoked. It was actually on sale for $2.74 for that big container. For those of you that do a lot of grocery shopping, name brand, no name brand, just your generic peppers now are getting more expensive. So with that being a name brand and a specialty item, that really helps it. Now the other two that I have in the front right here, that's just a pink Himalayan salt. Some people say that that's a little more healthier than your regular salt. And then the other one's just a basic generic pepper that I had that I mixed the two up. And the last thing I use is a little bit of baking powder. You don't need a whole lot of it. It will help the spices kind of stick to the chicken. What I'm going to do is put all these spices in a bowl, mix them all up together into one basically powdered spice. And then I'm going to end up putting it all over the chicken and let it sit in the fridge for probably a half hour just to let it, if you've got time on your hands, you can put it in for longer. I kind of am getting this ready for dinner this evening. So basically, you know, I don't want to waste a whole lot of time, but you can leave it in there. The longer it sits to the chicken, it's going to get that spices all rubbed in there. And I'll show you guys what it's going to look like after. So as you can see here, I just basically mixed all the spices up together into one bowl. Now what I'm going to do is actually split my chicken into two big bowls, just so I can get a good rub, put it all over it, and I'll show you guys that once I get it going. So as you can see now, I've ended up basically putting the rub all over the chicken, and I'm telling you, it's already looking good. The spices makes it smell good, but it's going to taste even better. I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to put this in the fridge. It'll take about 30 minutes to let the spices sink into the chicken. This is a great opportunity. If you can, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Help the channel out. That's how you can really help support our channel, by hitting that subscribe button. Also, if you can hit that like button and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you try this out at home, let me know. And I will be back in a bit. Okay, so while I'm letting that sit in the fridge and kind of let them spices kind of sink in a little bit, that gave me a little time to do a little bit more prep. And I'll tell you what I have here. Now, I do tend to like pre-chopped garlic. It does come in a bottle. You can get this stuff on sale a lot of the time, so I like that. It keeps well, so you can, you know, keep it in your fridge for a while. Also over here, now this is going to depend on you. You can use regular vegetable oil. This vegetable oil just happened to come from a 7-Eleven while we were staying in a hotel, and I needed just some oil, and that was all they had to do some cooking. Next to it, I have a little bit of sunflower seed oil. That has a garlic and herb mixture, and if you look at it, you can see at the bottom, you can see the garlic and herb. When you mix that up, a little bit of that flavor is going to get into the sauce that we're going to make, and we're going to make the sauce right here with this recipe. Now over here we have some parsley. I'm sorry, your parsley's right here, and I got them mixed up, the bowls. You can tell parsley from what's over here. This is cilantro. If you smell cilantro, it's going to have a really unique smell. It brings a lot of flavor to dishes. So I tend to use that vegetable a lot, that herb. And here we just have some green onions. I left one uncut just so you guys could see if you didn't know what they were. Now, up here, I might cut them towards the top. I'll cut them maybe a little bit bigger. When I get down towards the root area, I'll tend to cut them really small. Just that way you don't, like, take a bite and have, like, a big old chunk of the onion right off. And then the parsley. So, that's I'm prepping that, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so the next step in the process, we're going to be baking the chicken today in the oven. And the reason I'm going to bake it instead of fry it, it's going to be a lot more healthier. The flavor, it's going to have an incredible amount of flavor in it. Now, one thing everybody uses, and I used to use it too, was Reynolds wrap. The thing about Reynolds wrap, this is actually parchment paper that I'm using today. And the reason I've started switching over to parchment paper, you spend about half the price on parchment paper, and it works great for this recipe. I know there are some people that have always used Reynolds wrap, and Reynolds wrap is great. But I do tend to watch price a lot on stuff and look for basically alternate ways to save money. The parchment paper keeps great. And you'll see at the end when we pull it out. And I will be right back. Okay, so while I'm preheating the oven, I ended up pulling this out. I filled up a cookie sheet and another baking pan. Layered it all in there nice. The rest of it I'll end up cooking up after this batch probably. I do want to use it all pretty much today, get it all cooked up. That's one of the reasons I do. One, I said I like to prep my food ahead of time for the next day or two. The other reason, because I did buy it on clearance, it's best to use it the day or the day after you bought it. So, but boy, these are looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick these in the oven, and I will be back in a couple minutes, and we will start making our sauce that we're going to end up putting over these once they're all cooked up. So the first thing I'm going to do to make my sauce that we're going to put over this chicken is I'm going to get my pan heated up, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil. I'm going to use a little bit of both different oils, just to kind of use up the 7-Eleven oil that I picked up, but I don't want it just to use that oil, so I'm going to use a little bit of that higher end oil along with a little of the oil that I have kicking around. Now once you've got your oil in the pan and you've got it good and hot, the best way that I do is I will just drop a little drop of water on there, and if it pops up like that, then you know that pan is hot and ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some garlic in here, and you can use fresh garlic, but like I said, I just use a lot of the pre-cut garlic right out of the bottle because I do use a lot. Fresh garlic is just as good if you want to cut it up. It's just another step. Okay, so once you throw your garlic in, I do use a lot of garlic. I end up using probably about 4 good-sized spoonfuls of the pre-cut garlic. It does have a liquid in there, so once you put that in, it's going to steam up a little bit. It's going to start almost cooking the garlic really fast. Keep your heat on medium and continue to stir. That's really important that you keep stirring. And then you're going to add in your cilantro next, and I will show you guys that here in a minute. Now, I put a good handful of cilantro in there. This is going to cook down a lot. Just make sure you continue to stir it after. One thing also to know, if you're a spicy person, you like spicy food, and you want to add a sliced up hot pepper in there, you could have put that in with the garlic and just let it kind of cook in there a little bit. That's going to bring a little bit more heat. I'm not a spicy fan, so I don't do it. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start stirring this up, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've let it cook down, as you can see. The next thing I'm adding is some salt, some pepper. There's a little bit of my smoked pepper that I use. We'll throw that in there. I'm also going to add a good handful of parsley. You don't need a ton, but a good amount, as you can see. We'll let that cook in there. A lot of this is going to bring flavor to the recipe, to the rub sauce that we're going to put over it. Flavor is important, especially if you're eating a white meat that's may not taste as good. The next thing I'm going to add in there, I'm going to sprinkle in some of the green onions. We'll let those cook in there. There it is. And then, like I said, continue to stir it. Right now, it's a little harder to keep stirring it while I'm on camera. So I'm going to end up pausing it. I'll be right back when this cooks down a little bit, and I will get it stirred in there. All you got to do is just keep stirring it. You just don't want the bottom to burn on the pan. I am using a wooden spoon just because I don't want to scratch up my egg pan. This is a non-stick pan, so I don't want to ruin it. If you use metal, you're going to scratch it up and stuff. So I'll be right back in a minute. Now the flavor in this it's all cooking together. The flavor is really starting to, I mean, the smell is just incredible. Basically blending in all those different flavors, the different herbs and the salts, the peppers, the spices. So I will be right back in a few minutes and we'll check on that chicken. Okay, so if you're like me and you get your basically what you're going to pour over the chicken, your rub or whatever some people call it, sauce. If you're like me and you get your sauce done a little bit early before the chicken's done, what you're going to want to do is just put it on simmer, just to kind of keep it warm, and then you'll end up, once the chicken's done, put it in a bowl and you'll mix it up. If you have a little extra time, prepare a salad. I've put together a Southwest salad just to kind of complement the chicken. I'm on a health food kick. The plate that I'm actually making, there's a lady next door, an older lady, that I'm probably going to bring it over to her for dinner. So that's a good way to complement the chicken. It's a healthy choice. So I'll be right back. And there you have it, the finished product. I like to garnish it a little bit with some avocado, some tomatoes. Put a little bit of green onions on the chicken just before you serve it. That way it gives it more of an aesthetic look. It's pretty much an all healthy meal. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like. Leave me a comment. Let me know if there's something you want to know how to cook. Let me know, and maybe I can. I got a recipe for it, and we'll do a video on it. As usual, thank you for watching Tsquare Talk, and can't wait to read y'all's comments. Take care, guys.